Hi, boys and girls, it's Miss Cooper, and we're back for our everyday math lesson. Today we're on Unit 5, Lesson 7, which has to do with patterns in products. So I would like for you to look at this grid. It says, look at the number grid, which numbers are covered. And it says, explain to your partner how you figured them out. You can tell somebody at your house, or just think about it and maybe write it down. And I'll give you about 15 seconds to see if you can figure that out. All right, hopefully you figured out, you knew that you could do a couple different things here to figure it out. You could slide to the right one and know that after 57 comes 58. Same way with 67 is 68, 77 is 78, 79, 80, and 87 would be 88. You could also notice that when you start up here at the top, it starts with 18, and then you add 10 more and it goes 28, 10 more. So every time I go down a row, I'm adding 10. So 48, 58, 68, 78, 88. And you know that if this is 69, we can do the same thing. Add 10 more, that would be 79. And this is 70, so 10 more would be 80. So let's move on and look at our number grid for today. I want you to think about this number grid and think about what patterns you see in this number grid. And for this activity, I'm going to actually switch to a different screen. So I'm going to switch over here. It's the exact same grid, but for this purpose, I'm going to change it so I can write for you and explain. So if I was looking for a pattern, I might do this one. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110. We're going to stop right there. So the pattern would be that each time I go down, I am adding 10. We also notice that all the numbers in this column all have a 0. So what other patterns do you notice? And I'm going to switch colors and we're going to talk about a couple other ones. Maybe you notice that you could do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, and 95, and we're going to stop at 100. So you notice that those are counting by fives, and all the numbers either end in a 5 or a 10. So that's another pattern that we see. Maybe you also see a pattern like this: 1, 11, 21, 31, 41, 51, 61, 71, 81, 91, 101. And hopefully for this one, you notice that the number in the ones place is give you just a second, a 1. And hopefully you notice that it also goes down by tens. You add 10 more each time. Plus, if you look, this number in the tens place is a 1. The next time it's a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's another pattern that we see. Now, a pattern that I want to show you, maybe that you didn't notice, we're going to use purple this time, is, let's look at this pattern. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, and 81. And this would be, this pattern would be the 9 multiplication family. So 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times 4 is 36. 9 times 5 is 45. You also might notice that when we go to the next number, we go down a row of 10 and over 1. Down a row of 10, over 1. Down a row of 10 and over 1. Down a row of 10 and over 1. So hopefully you notice that pattern as well. Now we have a couple words that I want to talk about that's going to help us with today's lesson. So we're going to go back to this slide and we're going to talk about some special words. The first word I want to talk about is multiples. And it says multiples are the products of any number and a counting number. So then we have this little anchor chart and it says multiples, the product of a number multiplied by any other whole number. The first 4 multiples of 8 are 8, 16, 24, and 32. So if I go back to that other graph that we were looking at, or that grid, these are all multiples of 9. 9 times 1, 9 times 2, 9 times 3, 9 times 4. So 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81. Those are multiples of 9. Just like in this anchor chart. These are multiples of 8. This is 8 times 1. The answer is 8. 8 times 2, 16. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 4 would be 32. So those are all multiples of 8. The other 2 words that we need to talk about are factors and products. Factors, it says factors are the numbers that are multiplied together to form a product. So in this example, factor pairs are 1 and 8. So we would multiply those 2 together. 1 times 8 equals 8. And another factor pair would be 2 times 4. So factors are the 2 numbers you multiply together, and the product is what we call the answer to a multiplication problem. So let's review that a little more in the next slide. So what are the multiples of 5? Here's an example. 20 is a multiple of 5 because 5 times 4 is 20. So let's think about another one that we could type. We could say that 30 is a multiple of 5 because 5 times 6 equals 30. We could also say that 45 is a multiple of 5 because I know that 5 times 9 equals 45, right? So that's another way that we would have a multiple. Another multiple would be 50 because 5 times 10 equals 50. So the products of those numbers are what are the multiples of the number, essentially. And then again, to practice as far as factors, you're going to take the factors in this example are 3 and 2. Those are the 2 numbers we multiply together. So those are called factors. The product is the answer to a multiplication problem. So 3 and 2 are the factors. Those are the numbers we multiply together. And product is the answer, which is 6. So if we look in this example down here at the bottom, what are the factors in this problem? The 2 factors would be the numbers we multiply together. So hopefully you said 5 and 9. And then underneath here, it says, what is the product in this problem? Remember, the product is the answer to a multiplication problem. So the product is 45. So you're going to do some investigating today. Your example is going to look like this, and it will be in slide form so you can answer the questions. Remember, an even number of objects can be divided into equal parts, and there's nothing left over. And remember, even numbers are 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. And then an odd number of objects, you'll usually have one left over if you try to divide it into two equal groups. And so odd numbers would be 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. So you're going to use your multiplication chart that I gave you, or you can go on the home page and look on the multiplication chart if you need to. And they want you to think of two even factors. Remember, factors are the two numbers we multiply together. So 2 times 8, those are both even numbers, and they equal 16. If you notice, 16 has a 6 in the ones place. That means it's an even number. Then you're going to think of two odd factors. So two odd numbers. 5 times 9 equals 45. 5 and 9 are both odd. The answer is 45. Again, the 5 is in the ones place. 45 is an odd number. And then you're going to fill in this part of the table by doing one odd factor and one even factor. So the odd factor would be 3. 3 is an odd number. An even number would be 6, and you get 18. And then you're going to answer a few questions that you notice once you are done with this chart. The last thing you're going to do is this section. It'll be a little bit different. I'll ask you to list the products of 10 times 1, 10 times 2, 10 times 3, 10 times 4, 10 times 5. Remember, products are the answers to a multiplication problem. And then you're also going to tell me the products of 9 times 1 all the way through 9 times 5. And then you also answer the last question.